Okay, the next part of what we're going to learn, okay, you just learned how to calculate gross pay. Most of you who have jobs, you get paid by the hour or by salary or however you get paid, but when you actually get your paycheck, what you receive is not what you calculate. And that's because of what we call deductions or things that come out of your paycheck um, to pay for taxes. Okay, everybody lives in the United States, so we have to pay taxes. Other countries might be different, but here in the United States, taxes come right out of our paycheck. Okay, how much and how to calculate it, most of us have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how that money is calculated and where it goes. Okay, so today we're going to talk about state and federal taxes those that come out of your paycheck. Okay, let's look at a pay stub to start. Most of you have a pay stub that would look somewhat similar to this. You may have more or less deductions that come out of your paycheck, but this is a very common looking pay stub. Okay, so let's look at it. First of all, the name of the person is Jane Doe. She works for Company Incorporated. Okay, this is her social security number, and her pay period is weekly. Okay, she gets paid per week if you calculate the dates. She got paid on March 13th, 2020. Okay, so let's go down here. Jane Doe was paid hourly for 40 hours, and she gets paid $20 an hour. That means her weekly pay would be $800 if there would be no taxes taken out. We call that in the financial industry gross pay. If you look here, those are her gross earnings. Okay, what you actually take home, that's called your net pay, which we're going to show here in just a minute. Okay, the four kinds of taxes that we are going to talk about, they are Medicare, Social Security, federal, and state. Okay, today we're only going to talk about federal and state. So if you look at Jane's withholdings, here they are. Federal and state are in green here. Okay, and that is exactly what we're going to calculate today. The next video, we're going to calculate Medicare and Social Security. Okay, and these columns, let me just explain those to you. I can never say this word. Statutory deduction is required deduction. There are some deductions that are not required. These are required deductions. The total deduction that's coming out of this paycheck is right here. YTD stands for year to date. That means Jane Doe has paid these amounts in this column so far in 2020. Okay, because this is year 2020 in March of 13. Okay, that's how much she's paid so far. When 2021 comes up, her first paycheck, these will all match until the next pay, and it's just the accumulation of them all. Okay, now let's look down here at the bottom of the pay stub. YTD, we just said, means year to date. So that means that so far this year, Jane has made $8,800 gross before any taxes have been taken out. Okay, her year-to-date deductions, meaning all the deductions that have come out of her paycheck for taxes, has been $1,544.51 so far. That means Jane has made $7,255.49 net. Okay, she should have made $8,800, but she's only taken home $7,255.49. This pay, this actual pay stub, this is her year-to-date information in the blue. This pay in the black here is actually this paycheck, this week's paycheck. She should have gotten $800. However, her boss paid $140.41 to the government, meaning her net pay, what the actual paycheck is written out as, is $659.59. $140 of her $800 went straight to the government. So let's go ahead and learn how to calculate these types of pay, or these types of deductions. Once you calculate your pay, there are two ways that you can calculate federal and state. One is the bracket method, which is the first method we're going to talk about. The second one is the percentage method, but we're actually not going to learn that at all. We're just going to use the bracket method. Okay. Before your boss actually after he hires you, he makes you fill out a W-4 form, and the W-4 forms have changed recently, and this is what a current W-4 form looks like. We'll pull it up here. I'm guessing if you just got a job recently, this is what you filled out, and it looks like this. Basically, are you single or married, and how is this dependence? Okay, multiply the number of qualifying children under the age of 17 by 2,000, add the amounts above and enter a total here. Other income from not from jobs, okay, any deductions that you have or extra withholding. How much do you want us to take out of your paycheck? That's basically what goes in there. Okay, most of the time, okay, multiply the number of qualifying children dependents, okay, that is also known as withholdings, and that's how we calculate your federal and state, is your withholdings. Okay, so the number of kids you have. All right, so let's go back to here. After you fill out your W-4, let's go ahead and calculate the federal tax for a person. Okay, this is the second method that we're not going to talk about, but I left it in your notes in case you want to look at it. And then here is a person, okay? Find the federal and state withholdings of a married person with 3 withholding allowances and a weekly gross pay of $643.35, okay? Everything that you need to know is in this box. So where do you start? Okay, let's start with what we need to know. First of all, to calculate federal, the first thing you need to know for both of them is how often do they get paid? Do they get paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, semi-monthly, yearly, daily? How do they get paid? Well, if you look at this one, how does this person get paid? Weekly. That is the first thing that you need to know, is how do they get paid? Okay. The second thing you need to know is, are they married or single? So this person is married. Okay. The third thing you need to know is how many withholdings or dependents do they have? In this case, they have 3 withholdings. And finally, the fourth thing that you need to know is their gross pay. So we have $643.35. Okay, now make sure you pay attention here so you learn how to find all of this information. I'm going to start federal weekly. You're going to go to the charts that I posted in Google Classroom. Okay, and it's going to look like this, and you're going to have all these different charts. Okay, and if you remember, it's federal weekly. So I'm going to go federal weekly. I'm going to find the correct chart. I'm going to double click and open that chart. I already have mine open, but once you have yours open, it's going to look like this, federal weekly. And here we go. The second thing that you need to know, are they married or single? And if you look at the top right here, you'll notice that it says married, and if you scroll to the, yep, there it says single. Okay, so this person, if you look back, is married. So we're going to use the federal weekly married. So I'm going to go back. There's 3 pages of it. Okay, the next thing I need to know is how many allowances. Okay, notice here how the number of allowances up here, or withholdings. And if you remember from my page, my number of allowances was 3. So I'm going to go back 3, and that's the column we're going to use right here. Okay, oops, this column right here. I don't know if you can see that. Oops. Okay, 3, and then I need to know my gross pay of $643. So I'm going to match up those columns, the column number 3 and $643.35. So $643.35, let me get my writing utensil out so you can see this. Oops. What happened there? Sorry about that. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so 643 is right here. It's more than 640, but it's less than 655. If you look up here, it says at least 640, but less than 655. And remember, I said I'm going to line it up to the 3. So I'm going to line up those columns. So not 43, okay, not 34, not 25, and here I have the magic number. I lined it up here, and I lined it up here, and that is my magic number. That's the federal withholdings for this person with that information. So I'm going to go back to my information, and I'm going to put $17. Okay, $17. Okay, not too difficult. Let's go ahead and calculate state and talk about what you need to know to calculate state. State, you need the same information, except the state doesn't care if you're married or not. So all you need to know is how often you get paid, how many withholdings, and your gross pay. So this is still weekly. We have 3 withholdings, and it's $643.35. Okay, so now when I go find my chart, I want state weekly, and it looks like that. So I double click and open it. I already have mine open. Okay, and it looks like this. Okay, so I have the correct chart because the state doesn't care if you're married. At least the state of Ohio doesn't. If you change states, go to Indiana, Pennsylvania, they may or may not, but they are going to have different charts. So, but the state of Ohio does not care if you're married or not. Here we go. So I have weekly pay, okay, and I still have 3 withholding allowances, and I'm going to go down to 643, same number, and I'm going to find it. Let me get my marker out again if I can find it without messing up. 643 is more than 640 but less than 670, more than 640 but not over 670. And here's my magic number, so I'm going to go down until I hit it, and that's $13.64. So I'm going to go back over $13.64. That's where the numbers on the pay stub come from, the charts, and they're updated every year. These are 2020 charts. Every year we get new charts, okay? And that's why we vote, and that's why we pick different people in office. This is what they do. They make charts to calculate how much taxes come out of your paycheck. All right, let's try another one. Federal. Find the federal and state withholdings of a single person with 2 withholding allowances and semi-monthly gross pay of $2,492.68. So if you remember, for federal, I need 4 things. Okay, what are they? First of all, how are they getting paid? How often? This is semi-monthly, so let's write that down. Semi-monthly. So that's the chart we're going to need. Okay, they are single. The federal government cares if they're single or married. We have a single person. We have 2 withholding allowances, and then we have the gross pay of $2,492.68. Okay, so first thing, federal semi-monthly. So we're going to go over those charts and find federal semi-monthly, and there it is. So let's open that chart, federal semi-monthly, and let's see. The second thing the federal government cares about is if you're single or married. Okay, now if you look, I'm at state, sorry, federal, okay? This is single, okay? If you look up at the top, there's married as well, and there's single. So make sure when you're calculating federal, you have the right one, and they're just keep scrolling for married and single. So single person, semi-monthly, and I have 2 withholdings at $2,492. So 2 withholdings. Let me get my highlighter out. 2 withholdings, $2,492. Uh-oh, we ran off the chart, so we have to go to the next page. 2 withholdings. $2,492. 2,492 is in between 2,485 and 2,525. So we have $262 coming out for federal. So let's go back over to 62. $262. Okay. Last one, state. Go a different color. Remember, state, we need the same information as we needed for federal, except the state doesn't care if we're single or married. So state is semi-monthly. Still have 2 withholdings, and the gross is $2,492.68. Okay, so let's $2,492.68. So let's go back over and let's find our chart. Semi-monthly state. Open it up. Semi-monthly state, 2,492. I'm going to scroll for a minute. And that is off the chart. So let's look at that. So I probably won't have any of these in your homework, but I may make them extra credit. So if you look, if it goes off the chart, you're going to use this right here. I'm going to go over to 2. Okay, and it looks like this. 2,492.68 minus 1,667, which is right there. I'm going to subtract that, and I'm going to multiply that by 3.614%. Okay, so let's get my calculator out. Oh no, I'm going to lose this information if I get my calculator out. Okay, so I have 2,492, I have my calculator now. So 2,492.68 minus 1,667 equals 825.68. Okay, you're like, well, where did you get these numbers? This is my gross. Okay, this number, 1,667, I just got from the table. 3.614%, I got right here from the table. Okay, and 3707, I got right here from the table. So I got this gross pay, table, and the table. Okay, times 3.614%. $29.84 rounded. 3707. $66.91. And so those are withholdings for state. That will most likely be a bonus question. I'll make so that all the other states are on the chart, but if you do run into that, now you've seen it done. $66.91. Okay. Go ahead and make sure you have those charts open on your computer and go ahead and start worksheet 1.